Yeah, the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is that tomorrow we should be getting the most recent jobs report. We anticipate that the aggregate level of unemployment will be the highest it's been since the Great Depression. Probably 16, 17%. And for Black folk and brown folk, that number is going to be substantially higher. I say that because it underscores the moment that we're in and the urgency of thinking and strategizing around, as Dr. Walker mentioned, abolition of poverty as proposed in Economic Bill of Rights. We have always been involved in this discussion. So even though, obviously in the modern period, we talk about Franklin Delano Roosevelt rightly, but we, Black folk, have always been involved in this discussion. The first Black recipient of a PhD in economics was a woman, Sadie Mosley Tanner Alexander. And in 1945, she gave a speech at Florida A&M that embraced the idea of an economic bill of rights. In 1972, the caucus of Black economists also put forward a economic bill of rights. And more recently, we have economists like William Darity and Derek Hamilton advocating and pushing this notion of an economic bill of rights. And this economic bill of rights is predicated upon the notion that, as Dr. Walker talked about, these aren't civil rights, these are human rights. And economic rights is a subspecies, if you will, of human rights. And that there are certain rights that we are entitled to simply because we are human. And the Economic Bill of Rights, and that's going to be a right to a job and a right to a job at a livable wage. So in academia, there's been Black intellectuals and Black academicians who have been talking about this for some time. In the area of politics, right? And I believe somewhere in the mid-1970s, Augustus Hawkins teamed up with Senator Humphrey to put forward a full employment bill. For instance, Cory Booker, that was part of his program. I don't think he pushed it nearly enough. So in academia and in politics, we have been involved. And not only in that, in the area of social activism, we have been involved. Bayard Rustin presented the Freedom Budget on behalf of his mentor, A. Philip Randolph, that talked about the fundamental tenets of an economic bill of rights. The Black Panther Party, right? If you look at their 10-point program, talks about certain economic rights, including the right to full employment. The Black Youth Project 100, if you look at their platform, they embrace and talk about an economic bill of rights. The Black Lives Matter movement not only talked about stopping the killing of unarmed Black men by police, but they also talked about the fundamental tenets of economic bill of rights in full employment in particular. And so all of these are, this whole notion of an economic bill of rights runs through the thread of much Black political, theological, and social thinking in academia and politics and in the area of activism. So I think the Black Dallas clergy it is excellent that we are doing this. Now, if you notice, and I'm gonna pull this to a close right here, every single entity or person that I listed on this selective list is Black. And I do that for underscoring the reason that we have a vested interest in this, and that we have not merely been recipients and silent partners. We have shaped this dialogue up until today. And so there are contemporary efforts that are still going on. And I think that when the Dallas Black clergy, when we're putting together this and we're getting together and we're having people involved, it's important to remember that we are drinking from a deep well and that we are part of a lineage that's reflected in academia, that's reflected in politics, that's reflected in social activism. We are not alone in calling for an economic Bill of Rights.